Alright, excuse me if I look exhausted. I just did a class and then I did fucking 3 loads of laundry, so my fucking eyes are going blue. You know why. Today, I just decided I should talk about this. Maybe I'm bored, I need something to talk about, I don't know. But today we're going to talk about why the Second Amendment is obsolete. Whoa. And why the Second Amendment is not obsolete. There are many things in the Second Amendment that are not relevant as much today as they were 230, 210, 220, 230, 234 years ago. I can't count for fucking shit. And there are many things that are probably always going to be relevant. I have today a criminal law book, and I have a fucking paper towel on top because I don't have to get anything on it. Criminal law book. I was reading a chapter. I read a chapter in every single textbook I have once a week minimum. And I was reading a chapter last night on public order crimes. Public order crimes are prostitution, rioting. I don't want to offend anybody, but up until not too long ago, homosexuality was a public crime. Today it's not so much. And they talk about the Heller versus DC. Any crime that is a threat to the public then or now they talk about. And they talk about why we've increased understanding about things like homosexuality, why we're still concerned about things like prostitution and rioting and stuff like that. But in the chapter, there was a segment on the Heller versus DC ruling, which the Supreme Court in 2008 overturned a law banning citizens from owning handguns. The Supreme Court determined the law was unconstitutional, and they exercised their power to overturn it. And there's a passage in here. We're going to get into this probably in the next segment of the video. This is probably going to be a 2-part video. There's a passage in here by 2 of the justices. Yeah, page 259. Justice Scalia, Antonin Scalia, delivered his opinion, and Justice Stevens delivered his opinion. And obviously, Judge Stevens was against overturning the ban and wanted to uphold it forever. But we'll get into that in the next part of this video. The Second Amendment. And Justice Scalia wrote it down here. I gotta read it. The Second Amendment, according to Justice Scalia, Justice Scalia wrote the entire fucking amendment out. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Those are the exact words of the amendment written by Justice Scalia in his opinion. Exact words, and those words have not changed over the years. We've gone from firing single-shot muskets to firing semi-automatic rifles, but you get the principle. Now, years ago, many years ago, you needed a rifle or a musket or a shotgun or a pistol for many reasons. Number one, there were a lot more wild animals around than years ago. And even today, in my county, not in my city, but in the cities outside in the counties, in the towns and villages outside my city, there are people that are fucking attacked by wolves and bears. I swear to God. Years ago, there was a lot more wilderness, a lot more animals, and animals could attack. Now, animals attacking humans is rare, but it happens, and it happens more than now. So, if an animal was attacking your farmland or killing your chickens or some shit like that, you needed a weapon to defend yourself. Shut the fuck up. Assholes outside. Okay. Also, up until not too many years ago, there was no police department. Yeah. In the 1780s and 90s, if a citizen was a victim of the crime, hold on a minute, my fucking friend. She's got her aim thing, it's a fucking duck. Speaking of fucking animals. Okay. a couple of years, many years ago in the 1780s and 90s, there was no police department. So if you were the victim of a crime, you had to go to the judge and tell the judge that you think your neighbor stole your butter churner and you want to go search his house for it. And the judge would give you a fucking search warrant and you, the citizen, would go and search the house. Yeah, that's serious. And you would arrest him, and you would bring him to court, and you would testify against him, and you literally had citizens that had to take a gun and go out and enforce their own law. It wasn't vigilante law, because before they did anything, they told the judge. You had very few police departments, very few sheriffs, it really wasn't an issue like it is today, where you have state police, county police, city police, village police, town police, FBI, Secret Service, DEA, all this other bullshit. It wasn't like that years ago. You needed to be your own police officer. And for that you needed a gun. That's obsolete today because we have the police department. And also years ago, if bandits were coming to town, for whatever reason, someone would come into town, go to the church, ring the church bell, and the men would come. And they would say, what the hell's going on? And the person that rang the bell would say, there are 20 bandits over the hill and they're going to invade this town. And the men would go home, get their rifle, get their shotgun, get their horse pistol, and they would form a barriers. Now, what is the militia? If you've ever seen a movie that takes place before 1850, not Civil War, any movie about the Alamo, even though the Alamo was Texas, which was Mexico back then, any movie about the War of 1812, any movie about the Revolutionary War, Patriot, for example, the movie Patriot with Mel Gibson, who's not a fucking lunatic. A militia is a group of men that have no basic training, no officer candidate school, and they just fight. And they could sometimes be very fucking effective. The Viet Cong were the militia during Vietnam fighting for the communist enemy. That goes to show how fucking effective they could be. They were guerrilla fighters. They didn't stand in a line and form and fight formation. They went into the woods and waited for the enemy to come and attack them. Americans did it in the Revolutionary War. Viet Cong did it in Vietnam. Very effective. And on top of that, they don't have the restraint that most soldiers have. A soldier might take you captive and bring you to the headquarters. A militia guy might slit your fucking throat. In 1790 and today. Militia guys, they're fucking mercenaries, basically what it is. Well, the militia was any man, sorry ladies, sorry guys, there were no women back then. There were very few women that fought back then. Very rare. But a militia was any able-bodied man. And that able-bodied man could be a 13-year-old boy. That able-bodied man could be an 85-year-old man. Any able-bodied male that could fight was a militia soldier. And his rifle or his musket, whatever the fuck you want to call it, whatever he had, the rifle was rifled. The musket was smoothbore. The rifle was a more accurate weapon. The musket was a more durable weapon. The weapon was above the fireplace. Church bell rang. He grabbed the rifle, and with a musket, he went out and he defended his town with 50 or 60 other men. That was the militia. We don't really have that now because we have state police, we have National Guard. We have a lot of other shit. We really don't need to do that today. We can just get on the phone and dial 911. Granted, I made a video recently about what happens when you call 911 for real. Check my time. 9 minutes, I'm fine. 9.5. Well, that was the reason I had the militia. That was the militia. And they protected the security of the free state. Whether the British troops were coming back for the War of 1812, or whether the bandits were coming from the woods and hills, they protected the township. Also, another reason why you needed a rifle or musket back in the old days was if you needed meat. You could be a vegetarian and grow your own vegetables, that was fine. It's a free country, you don't have to eat meat if you don't want to. You could buy meat off your neighbor if your neighbor had enough meat to feed his family. But in theory, if you wanted meat, you had to go out and hunt it yourself. Today, that is obsolete because we don't need it anymore. I mean, we have supermarkets. Everyone in a major city lives within half a mile of a supermarket or a butcher shop. Other guys that live a little further out in the suburbs live within 5 or 10 miles of a supermarket or a butcher shop. You can still hunt for fun. My personal opinion though, if you're gonna hunt an animal, eat the animal. Don't hunt for fun, hunt and eat the animal. And there are people that hunt, take the meat and eat it for themselves. But in theory, you don't need to. You don't need to because you can go out and you can hunt yourself. So bandits coming in from the hills, citizenry acting as their own police department and getting their own search warrants and making their own arrests, and hunting for survival are all ideas that are obsolete today. We don't need them, they're outdated. However, one key aspect of the Second Amendment that is relevant today, excuse me, I don't know. Yeah, 10 minutes is 5 minutes. One key aspect, 11 and a half, of the Second Amendment today is the idea of self-defense. Every American citizen and American resident alien has a right to defend themselves from a criminal if they honestly and reasonably believe they are in imminent danger. They further have the right to protect a third party so long as they know the third party is innocent and so long as they honestly, reasonably believe the third party is in danger. And defending someone might be anything from putting your arm out to defend a blow. Someone is advancing in your personal space. You put out your arm to block their entrance into your personal space. That is self-defense. And self-defense is killing somebody. And obviously, it's one extreme to the other. Okay? You obviously don't need to be that afraid if you're going to put your arm out and block. But if you're going to get to the point where you're going to kill somebody, you obviously need to be very afraid. And you need to be absolutely sure that you are in danger. But I'm going to stop because we're a little over 12 minutes. And I want to get into that self-defense aspect of why the Second Amendment is necessary.